When you are insulin resistant, your body is stuck using glucose for energy. Here's what is happening. So you eat lunch, you have a huge glucose spike, okay? Insulin is released to control that glucose spike. Insulin will take about 4 hours to come back down to baseline, but it can control glucose within about 2. So you eat lunch, glucose spikes, insulin spikes, it's got to control it. It brings glucose down back to baseline within 2 hours. Insulin starts to come back down, but what happens? Now you need your pick-me-up. You have your cravings. So you have a coffee, you add milk, creamer, sugar, you have tea, you add milk. Glucose goes up, insulin controls glucose goes down, insulin starts to come back down, but what happens? Now you have a snack, you have a muffin, you have a handful of pretzels. Glucose goes up, insulin goes up. Insulin is doing this all day long. It is remaining in a chronically elevated state, where once your baseline for insulin was down here, now your baseline for insulin is here. Your body will get used to whatever it is that you do to it. And this is why if you are somebody whose blood work has been normal all the time, and then all of a sudden you go to the doctor and now they're telling you you're pre-diabetic and you're like, I don't understand. I haven't changed my diet. I haven't changed my activity level. How is it that I'm pre-diabetic? It's because what they were testing was your A1C. Insulin's been controlling it, but eventually it catches up. And now your doctor is saying you're pre-diabetic. If you were diagnosed with prediabetes, you have had chronically elevated insulin for over 10 years. We're looking at the wrong markers. So, oh, Lady Scorpio, that's awesome. We should talk. I can definitely give you some tips and some tools. So let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about concrete solutions that you can do on your own. Okay, send me a DM, Lady Scorpio. First thing you need to do, and guys, I'm talking from experience. This was me. I lost 20 pounds. I got rid of my brain fog. I have more energy than I can possibly explain. Where once I was dependent upon coffee, I could drink 5-6 cups of coffee a day, no problem, still go to sleep. Because I was so tired all the time. And everybody around me was tired all the time. And so I just thought it was normal. I worked full time. I had 2 kids. It made sense to me. It can be. So migraines can be a sign of insulin resistance. So I'll explain to you what I did, guys, and I'll explain to you things that you can do and how I can help support you, okay? So a couple of things that you need to start to do is, first of all, you need to start doing intermittent fasting. Non-negotiable. Let me explain. Intermittent fasting is crucial for your overall well-being. Intermittent fasting brings down your blood sugar. It allows your cells to become insulin sensitive. Intermittent fasting allows those ITIS conditions to start to heal, inflammation to come back down. But more importantly, it allows cellular healing. Okay? It starts to heal your cells' autophagy. I fast for about 18 hours. 18 and 6 is my fasting window, or 19 and 5. Just depending on how I'm feeling. I'm playing around with it a little bit, but I always work on how I feel. I actually do it with a tool, okay? I was introduced to an all-natural protocol that I use. But you can do black tea, black coffee, you can do water. So that's the first thing. You have to do intermittent fasting. Second thing, guys, no snacking. You can't snack. Why? Because I explained, insulin takes about 4 hours to come back down to baseline. So you got to get rid of the snacks. Third thing, how you break your fast matters. Okay? You can't break your fast break fast, see that play on words? You can't break your fast with only carbohydrates, with a bagel, muffin, toast, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for cravings throughout the entire day, for having a huge blood sugar spike, followed by a huge blood sugar crash, okay? You have to break your fast, and can somebody write this down, please, this acronym, with FFPC. Thank you, Lady Scorpio. Fiber, fat, protein, and carbohydrate. That is how you are going to break your fast, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about how I did it. I had a very, very difficult time with fasting. I could do it through sheer willpower, but I wasn't consistent. And then when I would break my fast, I would feast because I didn't understand that I was insulin resistant. I had a very difficult time with the no snacking. I had a lot of food noise. Like I was always thinking about food, right? And then after I ate, I always wanted something sweet. So I had a friend of mine who knew what I was dealing with, who called me up and said, listen, I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. He said somebody had introduced him to a metabolic system that heals on a cellular level. It's called a nutraceutical, a natural plant-based solution, okay? Scientifically based, it's got over 24 peer-reviewed studies. Me to referring to the feasting. It's a telltale sign of insulin resistance. And so for me, I had such a hard time that I was like, I need to try something else. Sorry, guys, bear with me for 1 second. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, salt can also be very similar to the sugar. It just depends on your neurons in your brain and how they function. So it doesn't surprise me if you feel like if you're craving salt too. So for me, I needed something else. This isn't a magic pill, okay? It is a scientifically based system to heal on a metabolic level. It has been studied by the University of Sydney. It has been studied by the University of Toronto. It has been studied by the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Benjamin Bickman, if anybody knows who that is, he is one of the leading health scientists who studies metabolism. He studies metabolic syndrome. He actually talks about the protocol. He actually advocates for the protocol on his podcast. Dr. Jason Fung, who is one of the leading, who's known as the godfather of intermittent fasting, has studied the protocol. He advocates for the protocol. He talks about the protocol. And when I say the protocol works, I mean it works. Hundreds and hundreds of people have benefited from the protocol. This is Vicky, who got rid of her menopausal belly, because what happens in menopause for women is that estrogen decreases, cortisol increases, you are 50% more likely to become insulin resistant. Amanda, major weight loss transformation, got rid of her arthritis in her knees, and I'm going to show you a video in a second that actually shows the changes that she's undergone. Guerrera, if anybody watches sports, baseball, this is how he went through his major weight loss transformation. Zara no longer has PCOS symptoms, no longer has food intolerance. Her anxiety levels went down. So like when I say hundreds and hundreds of people, I mean hundreds and hundreds of people. Gary, no longer type 2 diabetic, no longer on metformin, no longer on Rybelsus. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol usually come in a trio. So when I speak to new clients particularly, and they say to me, I've got high blood pressure, my next two questions are, do you have high cholesterol or type 2 diabetes? Because eventually, after one, the other two follow. Mahip no longer has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So let me explain the protocol. Let me explain the science behind it. Let me show you some of the studies. The protocol is actually very, very simple. It is composed of 2 drinks. One is a yerba mate extract. Yerba mate, if anybody knows, is a South American tea. This is an extract, which means it's a more purified, potent form, okay, of yerba mate. I drink this first thing in the morning. It releases GLP-1 naturally. So it releases up to 70% of your own GLP-1, which is produced in your small intestines. So I feel full. It gets rid of the hunger cravings, it gets rid of the sugar cravings, it gets rid of the food noise. But more importantly, it contains saponins. Saponins bring down inflammation. It contains theobromine. Theobromine is a mood enhancer. So you don't get the peaks and valleys like you do from coffee, okay? It's sustained energy throughout the day. I drink coffee now sometimes just because I like the taste, not because I need it because I'm so tired. So I drink this first thing in the morning. I'm actually drinking it now. I sip it throughout the morning. And then before my first meal, I have a fiber matrix blend. Why? because I can't hit the 25 to 38 gram mark of fiber. I can't. I don't eat enough fiber throughout the day. I particularly only have 2 meals. So this one in particular has 7 different sources of fiber, a myriad of sources of fiber to feed the myriad of types of gut microbiome you have, okay? It's got polyphenols, it's got chromium. It actually has 150 different nutrients, so I actually don't take multivitamins anymore. So I drink this first thing in the morning, then I will have my fiber matrix blend. After, I have a second tea. Why? This is all I do. Why? Good morning. Why? Because I don't snack. It gets rid of the sugar cravings. It gets rid of the food noise. And that's all I did. That's all.